Good morning. Let's see how cold and dead the market is today. I am going to look at this with an open mind because I'll be honest, I'm not expecting much. And should be good to go here. Everything looks set up to me. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Good morning, Soul. Invictus Dominion. Good morning, me name Mename. Good morning, David. Good morning, Proton. All right, let's see what we've got to work with. LNKS seems to be moving. Again, a penny stock. This is one that did some crazy movement during market open yesterday. Yeah, no current news, but it could be more so just a continuation play from yesterday. I'm going to remove everything from our watch list because nothing is up. Literally everything that moved yesterday is either flat or down today. Have LNKS up there. Yeah, just looking through the other stocks that have moved. This one had news earlier this morning, but it didn't really move. What a red heat map. Yeah, how is the market looking? Oof. Yeah, so we went down yesterday. I mean, we're not even down that much. Right, we ended up going down like a 1.5% yesterday. What are we looking like pre-market for SPY? I mean, SPY looks pretty flat pre-market. Yeah, so we sold off yesterday, but it's mostly gone flat. $13 million shares for LNKS. This one has a history of doing these pops and then failing. This one, it didn't really fail per se, but it has a history of it. This is a Malaysian company too. It seems very important. DLTH getting some momentum. This was one that had news earlier this morning, but it's only just now moving. Yeah, very, very interesting way this behaved. Like, it was selling off, then we had an uptrend for like 2 months. A huge spike, and then it just gives it back. And now we're potentially spiking again. We're at 63, so we're way up here. Interestingly, historically, this chart doesn't gap pre-market. I don't actually see a period where there was a pre-market gap. So this is actually one of the first instances. Like, even on this massive move, right? It opened where it closed, and it opened where it closed, even during massive spikes. So this is a bit of an anomaly. If this gap does happen, this would be a first. Good morning! All from the rare sunny afternoon, okay. Let's see. Yeah, we got some consolidation. Yeah, gotta be careful because if there is earnings and there's something behind that, then this has the potential to run more than normal. I gotta acknowledge that. However, conversely, this has gapped up before the momentum started, which is significant. United States. Yeah, I mean, this gapped up like 30 cents on no volume. So this is top heavy. And actually, looking historically at the chart, I actually like it for a potential short if it gets there. Let me see if I can even place orders. I can. I'll check out LNKS in a moment here because I see it is moving. I just want to place some orders out, make sure everything's good. All right, so I'll jump back to LNKS. I have my orders out for this if this does want to run. LNKS, very nice move here. Ross did make about 10K on ARTL yesterday, as we had speculated. The only stock he traded. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's funny how you can predict exactly which of the gurus bought just by looking at the volume. And here's the thing, NASCAR. So, like, and this is what's frustrating to me. I predicted, this was my exact prediction, that he bought here. And the reason I say that I think he bought here was because of the massive volume spike. Now, he described him as buying once and then making more on the second buy attempt. So, interestingly, there was another surge of volume shortly after. So I would be curious to know if this is where he bought, or maybe even here. And what he was looking for range, right? Because I've noticed lately Ross will buy and then immediately sell. Like, he'll take a 20 cent, 40 cent pop and then immediately sell. So that would be something I would really want to know for this. But again, since I don't watch him live, so I don't have that subscription model, so I don't really, I can't monitor that. But yeah, I'm not at all surprised. Okay. I don't think I'm going to short this, but I am curious if I'm able to. So let's see if I'm even able to short it. I assume not. Yeah. And I would assume not just because yesterday this had such crazy action. This is still well in the heat radar for people. In both directions, right? We'll see how DLTH resolves. Look over the top line real quick. All that. Yeah, so made 23 cents, beats 14-cent estimate. I mean, it sounds strong. Sales. Okay, sales is slightly adjusted up. Okay. Interesting that they would have a beat. Like a 23-cent win on a $2 stocks. Like, that would suggest, if this is replicable, that this company is profitable. So why would they be downtrending? So there might be more to it than just meets the eye for earnings. This doesn't really pass. It doesn't track for me. What's good, bro? Not much. Just trying to trade in a cold, cold market. Maybe check ACM. Just got big news. I will check it out. Awarded $151 billion shield contract. So this is a higher price stock. Also, look at these fluctuations. Wow. Yeah, so super high float, super high price. The stock isn't going to move very much. I mean, it sounds like a strong catalyst. This kind of catalyst on a small cap would be massive. But perhaps on a stock like this, where it's almost $100 a share, where there's over 100 million shares, this one just isn't going to move as much. BRN has news and CYN has news. Yeah, this one has news. It's been mostly flat to slightly downtrending. Did have one spike back here, but it didn't actually go up that much. Let's see. 12 million shares. Okay, so it looks like earnings or revenue adjustments. Yeah, increased revenue to leverage rising oil prices. Yeah. Made some on LNKS this morning so far. Seems to have a little resolution after breaking the highs. Yeah, that one's certainly going to be an interesting one to watch, just given how it acted yesterday. And you said also, was it ACM? No, it's CYN. Okay, I see that. This is the one that kind of bled off and had a little bit of an upsurge the last few days. Wow, what a rug. Is there like an offering here? 16th, this is the 16th. It's Monday. It was the 16th. Okay, so this is offering. This was a direct offering. Looks like it's pretty much stabilized and recovered, though. It was only for $9 million at $193 price. Okay, so it basically held, yeah. Okay, so the offering actually probably got fully diluted, and the price is holding above 193. So, very impressive, honestly. That shows real strength for CYN. It was able to tank an entire dilution and still hold up. Yeah, CYN, a liquid, 11K shares so far. Let's see. Also DTLH, possibly rugging. Yeah, there's some volume. It's still pretty light, like you said, though. Not a lot yet. Any thoughts on Fly? A few days ago, it made some type of connection with Starlink. Another higher priced. Daily just kind of looks terrible. Right, this is just clearly a downtrend. It's kind of based out here, though. So maybe it's found a floor. I'm assuming this is a higher float, too, right? Yeah, 159 million. So, again, much higher float. It looks like it could be potentially finding a floor, right? It has made a higher low. Somewhat recent IPO as well. So maybe it's still just finding its place, right? It opened up at like 70, so it did open very high. Fly X, sorry. Nah, you're good. Let's see. Okay, $2 stock. 44 million. Okay, that's more in the ballpark what I would look for. Yeah, see, a complete Starlink installation. So it looks like the Starlink headline or something similar spiked it back in January, but it didn't hold up. 44 million, wow, it's lower. It's still somewhat high of a float. Yeah, and this stock has a history of just popping and then failing. It's done it multiple times. So I would be skeptical to trust any kind of pop. CHNR, we'll check it out. Ooh, very... Okay, so this is a recent IPO or merger or something. Chinese stock as well. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't really want to mess with this one. Chinese stock looks like it's either brand new or they did something strange recently. I don't really want to mess with this one. I can check to see if it's shortable, though. It is shortable. That's actually very surprising to me. I would not have expected that. But I do not trust this at all. Right? 40,000 shares made this thing go from $3 to $4.20. So this can move on super, super light volume. Yeah, I see the letter of intent. But why would that drive? That doesn't even make sense why it would drive it up this much. Yeah. Okay, you're 4 entry, added at 440. Good luck, sir. I mean, look, all I'm saying is with how much volume came in, this has serious upside risk. So I really am afraid to get involved with something like this. Your CHNR order didn't fail. 432. Could have hit the ask at 380 but hesitated. Well, and certainly for a reason, right? I mean, it's a Chinese stock that just seems to have come out of nowhere, right? There's only 2 days of price action for this. Dude, like, it literally went up 100% in 3 minutes on, like, what? This is probably like 600,000 volume? We can look at the 5 minute. Yeah, so yeah, on about 650,000 volume, this went up 100% in 3 minutes. I'm gonna keep doing checks. Okay. I can't even, all right. My limit price is now too aggressive to even consider. All right, so within 4 minutes, I ran out of shares available. Not that I wanted to short this anyway. This was, like I said, this was way too dangerous for me. And I mean, I predicted the upside risk was high, right? I said that this was too high of risk. This went up 100% in 3 minutes. So my assessment wasn't wrong. China isn't a recent IPO. I don't think it's been around for a year or so, according to Thinkorswim. Well, no, on the... Oh, why is it not showing? Oh, it must be because there's like no volume at all. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was a good quick in and out. Good stuff. Could take a while, but try to add. And it could reverse here. Looking historically, this does have a tendency to pop and drop. right? There's never been an instance where it's actually gapped up and held up into the day. Looking at the price action in the last year. Still seems dangerous to hold something like this, though. I mean, to the short side. I suppose holding it in either direction is probably very risky, right? This thing could easily also crash back down. But yeah, I don't want to short this, even if I would have been still able to. The upside risk, this could literally go up another 100%. I could see it. Over the past 2 years, CHNR has never had an intraday double. It's up over 50% now. Right. I understand that. But to give some context to, like, even with NPT, it's had this run up now, but before on NPT, right, this was the one where we had the massive spike here up to $30, right? We'll just say up to $30 here, it spiked. And then if you look at the history, like there was no real history of it doing massive moves in the last year. We'll go 3 years back. Okay, yeah, since the stock's inception, it did not have a history of making massive moves. The key thing is that it was in an uptrend, clearly being accumulated, and it was a Chinese stock that had little it had little interaction. All right, well, let's see it. Let's see how this one resolves. Maybe it'll just run over. I agree and left it alone. Right. And in hindsight, right, if this rolls over in hindsight, you could say, well, you should have shorted it. Of course. If I would have shorted this using my strategy, I would have definitely stopped out. Like this is way too much of a move for me. I would have probably stopped out within a minute for max loss. Smart Christmas tree incoming? Maybe. Maybe. Float very low. It is. If it goes through high, it will go to 7 or 8 or 9. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. This is what you would want to see if you were bullish, though, seeing a massive volume candle on the breakout. So clean 1 minute resolution. We'll see if it converts into an all-out short squeeze. Ross candle incoming? Oh god, you're so right. Gonna get like 1 million volume if we get a Ross candle. DLTH could be curling up. I do have orders out for this one, so I am still monitoring DLTH. Another very high volume candle. I'm gonna check the registrations for CHNR. Okay, so nothing super recent. The last one was back in May of last year, so there's not actually a lot of pressure here. So you're in it at 490, covered some at 440, sitting on the rest. Yeah, good luck. I would be very scared. I'm such a baby. Like, holding a short position on this just feels so scary to me. Because, like, this is the kind of stock, too, that will do the 200% mover. Right? It's also the same stock that will completely roll over and give 100% return from the breakout price. So, very high variance. Could be wrong, obviously, but that's the reason why I'm not touching it, especially since it's Chinese. Yeah, if this wasn't Chinese, that alone would make me a little more inclined to want to short it. At least the VWAP gives a nice risk structure. So we had what looks like a wall here at around 530. It tapped it. I mean, I'll even count this one. So it tapped it basically 4 times, maybe even 5 if you count this. So seeing how price reacts around 520, 530 is probably relevant here. Now it seems like it's struggling to get through 505. Maybe someone moved an order down. You're more on the long train on this one. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't really have conviction short biased. Just, I recognize the risk. Hidden seller, it does think, it looks that way, right? It struggled around 520, 530, and now it's struggling to even get through 505. So possibly a hidden seller here, and maybe they move their order down to 505. So now I'm watching to see how price reacts at 505. Okay, we're 505. Went straight through it on almost no volume. So the seller removed their order at 505. Okay. Okay, we went up, basically touched 520, just a few pennies short. Okay, touched 520. Certainly starting to form a bit of a ABCD pattern. There's certainly a ton of tension right now on this level here, roughly. Right? This level's been tested very aggressively. If it breaks, you could see as much as like a move up to 7 or something crazy. Conversely, though, there could just be a hidden seller here. It kind of feels that way. Full on rejection, it looks like. 520 to 460 in not even a minute, really. That was like 30 seconds. It certainly has a 20% chance of doing a CIIT. I wouldn't, well, no, I wouldn't put it that high, but it could do something. At least I didn't get up for nothing this morning. Wanted some action. No, this is certainly action, don't get me wrong. This is just action that is too intense for my strategy. Okay, Aton moving. Aton was a penny stock. Familiar with that one. Yeah, it's only 36 cents. Not really interested. Already 7:30. I can't believe it, man. I've been actually entertained by CHNR. I haven't felt the boredom signaling, you know? A ton of garbage. Yeah. All right, well, we'll see. I'm still expecting a huge candle. I don't know about you guys, but I'm expecting a huge green or a huge red. I'm talking like $1 plus, probably even a $2 plus move. Okay, no. Probably a dollar move. Yeah, looking at the chart. Like, I could see this flushing all the way to $4 in a minute. I could see this spiking all the way to 6 in a minute. I think it's going to do a swipey. We will see. You have your next ad at 650 if we squeeze. Yeah, 650 seems like the natural short point. I agree. Something like that. Maybe even 7 if you wanted to be cautious. But something like that, 657, somewhere in that area. I'm still curious how this responds around 520, 530. That's really where I want to see what it does on the level 2. Right? Because for the last like 10 minutes, we haven't really, like, we touched 520 twice here, but we just touched it. And both times you had a bit of a tail. We've never actually went up and seriously tested 520 beyond when we did back here. Holding up on decreasing volume. I don't know. I'm not so sold that it means it's more likely to go up. But I would say that this kind of pattern signifies that if it does go up, there's usually going to be a massive candle, right? I don't really know if there's an argument that it's going to go up, that the odds that it goes up is higher. I think it's the amount, the ceiling it could go up increases. Unfortunately, the opposite is also true. I think the longer it consolidates like this, the bigger the rug pull you could expect to see, if it does rug. RX indicator in CH&R is fading a bit. This may consolidate into 8 a.m. before $5 and flush, in my opinion, not advice. Right. Certainly. In either case, I can't get a good reading, so I'm staying out. Well, it's just the variance is way too high. For me. That's my big issue. I think this was certainly a very impressive move. I had the opportunity to short it, right? When it was popping up the first 2 minutes, I checked and I was able to short this. Surprisingly. So I could have shorted it if I wanted to. And I'd be very underwater. I should be at max loss. Took a dip at 489. We can try to break 520. And out already. Go for that little scalpy scalp. LNKS did exactly what I thought. I haven't even been watching it. I stopped. I don't even have it on a side chart here. I was super hesitant, bottom ticked my entry, then scaled out very soon on it because it just liquidated the high at 7. Oh, 7 o'clock. I see. Any news on LNKS? There wasn't news this morning, but there was news yesterday. Okay, so we're going on like the umpteenth attempt to get to 520. It almost seems like 510 is becoming like, so it was 520, 530. Now it actually kind of feels like 510 is becoming a wall. Right? It's not even getting to 520 anymore. It's been testing this 510 area more. Okay, bigger volume on that push down. Looks bearish to me. They keep shorting it at 520 and it breaks out. Breaks look out. Yeah. Yeah, the edge on CH&R is gone for now. Low EV. High risk on the short. Yeah, I don't have a clean read. Right, like I mean this last one, you had higher volume. You're looking at the volume over the last 20 minutes. This push down was on higher volume, so I thought maybe this was gonna spiral into something bigger, but then it did bottom and bounce, so not quite as bearish as it initially looked. The LTH still holding up nicely here. So I'll be looking to see if we get a next leg up. So if we're looking at this from a short bias, there was some resistance around 520, 530. After that first fail, then it seemed like 510 became resistance. instead. It wasn't even, it was touching 520 briefly, but like you would have wicks every single attempt. And then it became 510. And now you're seeing 3 candles of somewhat higher distribution of volume relative to the last 20 minutes. Spreads are massive. For me, it's a 1 cent spread. I don't know what you're seeing. Maybe it changed, but I'm seeing a 1 cent spread. I don't know what you're looking at. All right, dip CHNR at 451 here. Let's see if we can get a rebound break of 520. Good luck, sir. You're looking at stop loss. I'm not sure what that has to do with the spread. Yeah, suppose if you wanted to be bullish, you still are in an uptrend. Although it's not a very pretty one, right? You still are trending up. But I don't like that there was more volume on the pullback here. That reads to me as a bearish signal. Yeah, but we'll see. It's recovered nicely. If it breaks 497, you think that's enough to push past 520? Swipey. Incoming. It could be a swipey. I put the plus wrong in the $1, but it's fine. You understand. Okay, surprisingly, this thing is just kind of grinded straight up. We've hit the initial resistance of 510. Oh, shoot. Went straight through 520 and 530. So we went through the main resistance. Is this the swipey? Ross, get ready with your buy order. All right. There's our swipey starting. So you're set all the way to 11 flip-flop. Good luck, sir. On the 5 minute, this looks really impressive though. Right? It looks like a very clean recovery and breakout. Well, looks like the swipey's kind of happening. Yeah, wow. I am glad I did not short this. You took a starter on CHNR. Good luck, sir. No, you were right, Tristan. I mean, technically this happened in 2 minutes, but I would count this as a swipey. Let's be real. FOMOing, easy enough. $451 to $565. I'll take my 114 a share. NASCAR is going crazy. Very impressive. Takes the high out, then dumps. Yeah, what was the high? Did it take out the high? Previous high was 6. This went to 604. Massive volume. Let's see if we get the dumpy now. Define swipey, please. Well, we defined it as, well, I put it in the thing. $1+ move in 1 minute. Breakout, breakdown. So technically this wouldn't be a swipey, but I'm kind of willing to give it a pass because it did a $1+ move in 2 minutes. So I'm kind of willing to give it a bit of a pass. It's pretty close to a swipey. Game theory playing out, perhaps. Interesting if that was a Ross candle or not. Yes, certainly. I am certainly curious if Ross bought here. I have a sneaking suspicion he did. And I have a suspicion that he sold it high a day, which is why the price rejected back to here. Buyer stepped in. Wow. All right, well, there's your swipey candle for those looking for the swipey. Amazing. Incredible strength on this move. You got 650s? There you go. I mean, this is the 250% possible runner of the day. No, yeah, like, yeah, I agree. I agree, NASCAR. And that's why I said I didn't want to short it from the beginning. I could see, like, it has the pieces to do a 100% plus move. Right? I don't know what it's at now. It's at 90% right now. So it was probably near 100% at the top. Yeah, the one I would stay out of, wouldn't I? Yeah. Stop loss for you is break even 549. Okay, so yeah, you're pretty well into profit, Mine. Okay, MOB, you're saying that has news. Yeah, it does appear to. Let's see, uptrend. Drone and robotic solutions. Okay. Not a ton of volume in it yet. Israeli? Yeah. Yep, it is Israeli. Getting all the weird ones right now. The Chinese, the Israeli. Those are our big movers right now. Overpaid at 722 on the initial pop. Too low liquidity. Still out for a small loss. Yeah, MOB does have quite a bit of a spread, right? I'm looking at like a 10-20 cent spread. Is it shortable for me? It is. Low borrow rate too. I will actually go ahead and put out orders accordingly. Don't know if this one's going to even kick off, if I'm being honest. But if it does, I will be there for it. Chinese stocks scare me. I'm out. It's getting too close to 8 a.m. and I don't want to hold runners between 8 and 9. Well, I can respect that too, because if news comes out at top of the hour, it could detract from this move, certainly. But the flip side's also true. If news doesn't come out and this remains the top mover, momentum can actually return to it. That's like a pattern we've seen. CHNR really got the shorts out. Longs in above the high. And now dragging downwards to eventually have a random influx of buying again. Maybe. Things sell off between 8 and 9 a.m. to set up for the open a lot, EST. I don't know, Mename. I understand what you're saying in theory, but in practice, what I've seen is that stocks will tend to... They'll do two things, right? Either they're going to pop and fail pre-market, or they're going to pop and hold up until right at market open, where distribution actually starts to occur. I've usually seen one or the other. This one seems to be shaping up to me like it's going to hold strong going into market open, and then it's going to either break out or flush. Like, that's just my interpretation of it. Maybe I'm overlooking something that you're seeing. I totally accept that premise. But I don't really... I haven't experienced that myself. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm just saying that it seems most of the time they set up for market open. You guess Ross is up at least 30K? Maybe, yeah. Really hard for me to trade these since they are not really offering tight risk and multiple entries. This is one that is spiking and pulling back deep, which I find hard to trade long. Yeah, and this one too, right? Like, look how much this attempted to break out. It looked like there was someone pushing it down, right? There seemed to be a wall here. There seemed to be a wall at 510. And then you had volume start to increase. And I flagged this as bearish, right? I flagged this as bearish right here. And that turned into this. So my assessment was wrong that this was starting to flip bearish. right? And I got to be honest about that. I'm not going to lie and be like, oh yeah, guys, I was bullish the whole time. I mean, I said the potential here, which is why I didn't short it. But in real time, I was becoming more and more bearish as I was watching this develop. And I was wrong about that. CISS continuing to break out. A little above $1 now. Past 2 or 3 China runners have been round-trip trades. Shorts believe this is the cascade with CHNR, and suddenly it isn't. This could squeeze and triple to triple digits. You just never know. That's a fair argument. Look how dumpy and heavy and draggy the pullback is. Your size until VWAP has been so tiny, so you can add on the way down in case it wants to go again. We're right at break even here. Was really hoping for a big buyer spike. Now I have to add more aggressive, I think. Or I should have added more aggressive, I think. We'll see. We'll see. All right, well, CISS, as quick as I said, it was breaking out. It is now not doing that. Was this shortable? Just out of curiosity. I got to do 100 just so it lets me short. Okay, so this one's liquidation only. Got it. Cap, what was the video or observation you made about Ross trading scamming? It should be on the channel still. It's just like a Warrior Trading review video where I go over how the vast majority of people lost money taking the course. As far as me making a video about him actually scamming, I have not published anything on that, right? It's purely an observation I've made, but to say beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is doing it, it is very hard to prove that, right? Now, there's a lot of people that allege that, and I think there's a lot of evidence for that, but to say that that is 100% what's going on, like that's all of his money, that we don't know what extent, like that's very hard to say. Because, for example, I think Ross's system could work. It could make a slight profit. It is very hard to say for sure, but it seems very, very likely to me, based off of what I've seen, that it looks like he is greatly benefiting off of streaming to thousands of people and having them front run, or front running them, right? I myself have fallen victim to this. I haven't put money and chased him, but I felt tremendous pressure to FOMO trade after him when I was watching him when I was newer. And I've seen testimonials from multiple people who have said that they have felt pressure to FOMO trade, and many of them said they have FOMO trade after him. So to me, that the question isn't necessarily does he benefit from it? It is it exploitive by nature, and how much does he benefit from it? And those are the questions I can't answer. And I'm being honest about that. I don't know to what extent he benefits from it. I just observed some weird stuff he pulled on CHNR. He was a red candle, never hit above his average, and somehow made money. I mean, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I have a Discord. If you recorded it and you want to share it with me, I'll take a look at that. I saw one instance too, and I remember it so clearly. It was probably just a misslip by Ross. It was a one-off, so I'm not going to say that this is how he talks, because he doesn't talk like this normally, I think. But I remember when I was listening to him one time, he said something that was very stark to me. It was whenever the stock was breaking out, and it might have just been a slip at the time, but he said, okay, Stocks breaking out, go ahead and buy here now. Like, that phrasing, and it was probably just a mental slip. I'm not really accusing him of doing that intentionally, but when you say something like that to thousands of people who look up to you, there's significant pressure. And again, I'm not saying he does that normally. That was just one instance I observed. So that is certainly not the norm from my understanding, but he's putting himself in an environment that is asymmetrically beneficial to himself. I thought losing money after buying any course is a common sense, regardless of the profitability of the trader. Well, it's a negative EV environment, so your rationale is grounded well. But the whole point of a lot of these courses is to make you think that it's not a negative EV environment, that there's a positive EV environment, right? That's how they sell you the course. And I'm not saying that you can't make money, because like I've done things that can make money. So I'm not saying that I'm not even saying that that's a false statement that gurus try to allege, because I think that you can make money. But a lot of them haven't actually found the ways, and they're selling the dream. They're selling the shovel. They're not selling the gold, right? When someone wants to mine for gold, you sell them a pickaxe. You don't sell them the gold. Basically, it's another way of saying, okay, I'm in, go ahead and buy. Subconsciously, that is what he would be thinking. I call it the uptick advantage when someone runs a big chat room in small caps. Yeah. It is surprising to me, though, that he hasn't really been called out for it by, like, regulation. You'd think somebody streaming to thousands of people on something with like 1 million float and gets like 100,000 volume, like that, you would think that that would raise some red alarms, you know, but it doesn't. So that's just the reality we live in. And because it hasn't been raised as an alarm yet, I don't think it's going to be, which is the sad reality. What's up, Red Hill? How you doing? Yeah, just to clarify, it's not like I've been sitting idly by this morning. I did put out orders for Mob and DLTH. Neither of them ended up running. Realistically, we've only had CH and R that's moved. Nothing else has so far. He's not called out by it in his channel because he'll just shadow ban you. Ask me how I know. Does he shadow ban? Does he remove comments like that? I mean, you mentioned it. I don't actually recall. Like, I've looked at a lot of his videos because he's a good educator, right? He speaks well and he explains things. But now that you mention it, I haven't really seen people call him out in the messages on his channel. Yeah, I don't really see that in the comments. So maybe he does regulate them. You have been shadow banned. Yes, he does. I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense. I guess it makes sense. Yeah, I just didn't really put that together. Yeah, this is moving on decent volume. No news on this breakout, but massive volume. This is in a strong downtrend. Very strong downtrend. What is the news? Because honestly, maybe I should get involved with this. Let's see if I'm able to short it. I am. Okay, let me think. Yeah, this has a lot of work to do. First of all, I'm getting rid of my other orders because they're just not coming into play. I'll actually go ahead and put some orders out for Sir, but they're going to be higher up. Yeah. By the way, that's why I take so much precaution about what I'm sharing with you guys. If you've noticed, I intentionally make my orders not visible because I don't want people to know where I'm shorting, where I'm averaging in, where I'm taking profit, because that creates incentive for people to follow. Not saying that like I'm worthy of being followed or I'm worthy of being copied, but just to say that I identify that that is a conflict of interest to myself and to you guys, that I could use to exploit you, which is why I intentionally obfuscate my entries. And I don't mind sharing them after the fact, right? I don't mind sharing my orders. Like I can show you and be like, hey guys, look, I'm preparing to take short positions if this moves up, right? I'm being transparent on that. I'm trying to obfuscate the price in the moment. And I don't mind sharing the price after the moment. And you can reverse engineer. You could audit me if you want. I think that is a totally valid approach. And I try to make it so that you can reverse audit me because you can see how much I made. You can see where I'm claiming my entries were, and then you can reverse engineer that. And the fact that you can see my open P&L fluctuate shows that I'm not just making up the orders. My account was actually moving by that amount. So I think it's a very sophisticated way for me to show you I'm trading without showing you where I'm trading in the moment, but it is back testable. And I think that's a very strong approach. Most beginners don't understand how liquidity in these markets work, so they don't know what's going on. And he's mostly targeting beginners, so yeah. That's exactly how I used Ross's recap to learn. I've reverse engineered all his known runners. Yeah. And I converted it to a 5-minute hourly daily strategy. I see. Good morning, Siobhan. This is actually running a good bit. I actually could get a fill if this continues to run, believe it or not. We still got some distance to my first entry, but we're getting there. We are actually getting there. You got in Sarah at 176. Yeah, CHNR about to lose VWAP. It looks like it's pressuring it heavily. Yeah. Surprisingly, it's not dead this morning. I don't know, actually. Like, we had CHNR, but really beyond that, what did we have? We haven't had much. I think, would one good runner constitute a dead market? All right, that's really the question. Is this the exception or is this the rule? And right now, I would argue that this CHNR was an exception today. I'm guessing, and I'm very new, don't confirm or deny $2. Gotta stop trading. I'm not giving back my profit. There you go. Amount of Sir, small green. $176 to $190, yuck, but I'll take it. Yeah, like it's still not to where I would want to go short yet. The issue is that it had this massive spike up during after hours, so I'm wanting to give it more room to run before I commit. Also, this volume is higher. Like, it's interesting, right? This volume is higher than this area. So by all stretches of the imagination, this should be moving more than it moved here, but it's not. Right, there's a lot more churn. CHNR now finally breaking below that support. SWMR has taken the attention the past 2 days. It's a $5 priced IPO that hit 6.7. When that starts to roll over, I can see where the momentum is moving into other tickers. Today, maybe that momentum shift. I don't know. I think just the market in general is colder right now. I don't necessarily think it's distracted attention. The thing is once a stock gets that highly priced, a lot of people stop trading it. And if anything, they become more FOMO-y towards the next stock that moves. So I think maybe your assessment is misguided there. Please don't say 6.7. Oh, God. The TikTok brain rot is real. All right, we'll see if this bounces. Like, I still have my short orders out. If this bounces, I will gladly take a short. I need this to make another leg higher, though. I'm not expecting 6.7 in a trading stream. Hey, you guys said it, not me. I just said the number. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And now that it's below my 540 average, maybe I can just sit back and relax and watch it all fall. Yeah, maybe we're backside now. These 40 to 70 cent tickers are so annoying. I totally agree. So expensive on commissions to trade. Yeah, no, and I can't trade them. With Thinkorswim and Webull, the price needs to be over $1 for me to short it unless I'm shorting 100 shares. So that's really frustrating for me. And yeah, I can't mess with them till they get over $1. So I can't realistically, like, I'm not, with me shorting 8 shares, I'm not going to just do 100 share short. Like that goes against the position sizing for the strategy. And I also haven't back tested sub $1 stocks either. I thought I would get a laugh. You're pretty cool. Wow. Best live channel I've been involved with in 7 years. Well, I appreciate that. I wish I could do more. Like I've said it many times, I've accepted that instead of focusing on growth, I'm focusing on building this strategy. It sucks that it's a cold market and my criteria is so strict, I'm not getting fills. But that's just what I've accepted, right? Those of you that are here to chat and hang out while we wait for something to come up, that's really the primary thing I'm doing with this channel at the moment. If I do ever go somewhere with this strategy, then maybe I can try to push more for an authority figure signal, right? Because right now, a lot of people, if anybody's coming here who's newer and they're just looking to make money, they're going to be disappointed. They're going to not respect what I'm doing. They're going to leave. And I have accepted that. Because right now, that is not the target audience that I'm looking for. And that's kind of where I made the mistake when I started this channel. I thought that everybody was somebody who was a potential audience member. And I just needed to, like, rizz them up, you know? But doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, sir, breaking out. We actually we might get something here. We're getting closer to my entry, so we'll see. That's why I love this channel. I use Zendu in my custom Thinkorswim scanner for ideas, but I come here to learn and see your perspective. Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm using Zendu and I'm using Thinkorswim for exactly the same thing you are. I value your perspective more than any YouTube channel simply because you are explaining your thesis live. And I admit when I'm wrong too, right? With CH&R, I explained each step of what I was thinking. And I explained where I was wrong too, right? I explained I didn't short because this had too much potential, and I was correct. I explained that it looked like it was turning bearish in this area. You were seeing the sell orders come down, and I was seeing that the volume was increasing on this, and I was saying it was looking like it was flipping bearish. And I'm making sure to call out I was wrong, right? I was wrong that this was going to flip bearish. It made another leg. Okay, we are getting further continuation. $2. Getting pretty close to my entry now. Getting exciting. But don't tease me, just keep moving. Keep going up. Okay, continuing to see volume increase as well. Yeah, we're actually very, very close to my entry now. So, and now it's gonna dump. And now it's gonna dump. And it's gone. Watching sir. Yep. It could just be a pullback before the next leg, though. All right, this is certainly not the end of the run. This is, right now, this is just a small pullback. Fingers crossed it holds up, because I'm very close to an entry. Am I in the US? Yes, I am. I am in Pennsylvania. So this broke over $2 and then just immediately rejected it. Not really what I want to see, but fair enough. Go Steelers! Yeah. Missouri here. Well, greetings from Pennsylvania to you, sir. Yeah, and I don't mind showing my orders. Like, if it's looking like I'm not going to get filled, I don't mind showing my orders after the fact, you know? Just to show how close I did get. Come on, you can do it. Hold up. Just make that extra leg. You can do it. You can do it. Let me short you. Can't spell this morning. Perspective. I suppose it's not dead. I was getting a bit bearish when I saw this second leg down, but it still is trending up. Maybe it holds and makes a new leg. Maybe we're happy. Have I ever been to Shady Maple Restaurant? I don't think I have. North Georgia mountains here. Sweet Georgia. I was gonna say Sweet Home Alabama. Okay, let's see if we get the curl. Way different than Arizona. Yeah, I've only ever been to like 10 states in the US. All right, basically everything, but well, not everything, but I've been in most states below Pennsylvania. And I've been in a couple states to the west. Like Ohio, was in Illinois, was in Michigan. So states around Pennsylvania. You're up 0.29 R. On the week flat, I think. Yeah, I've been in Lancaster. Yeah. Yeah, I've been to Lancaster. TWO moving. All right. Hasn't made a determination as to whether the unsolicited proposal is superior. Okay. Receives unsolicited. Okay. So 1070 potential buyout. Mm-hmm. Why would the buyout be so close to the current price? It's so big, 104 million shares. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. It's tempting to want to go short there just because it went basically straight to the buyout price, which seems like an overreaction. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. If we'll get a fill for it. I'll put an order out. If I get filled, fair enough. Very unique situation with that. But I've done buyout plays in the past, so I'm a bit familiar with them. I'm surprised this still isn't really a hot theme for small caps. Yeah. Sarah, looks like it could be backside. I don't know. It's starting to potentially form a head and shoulders, which is a bit concerning. CHNR could be making another breakout attempt. All right, we did end up getting short on TWO. This will be an interesting experimental play. I'm only going to do 8 shares. I'm not doing larger size than 8. But this one seems like a very compelling offer, considering the buy is at 1070, and it's basically right at 1070, which seems suspiciously high. So we'll see if that ends up playing out. I'll be holding that one for a little bit. So mostly my eyes are now on Sir to see if this one is actually going to make another leg up or not. Yeah, it looks like this might just be done. So it broke over $2, then basically just failed immediately after. GNLN. Penny stock. Typical death spiral. Weed theme, 75 cents, yeah. It's just too cheap. Like, God. Well, I thought you told me it was 75 cents. It's looking more like 60 cents to me. Man, that stock got smoked. That's crazy. Oh, we're at the half hour, so we'll see if anything new comes out. BX. I'm happy my strategy triggers way less in a colder environment like this. Otherwise, I would be sitting 30% win rate. Yeah. No, yeah, and it's always the seen versus the unseen. You could look at it and see that I haven't been taking many trades, and you could say, well, you're missing out. But you don't see what would have happened if I would have been trading more aggressive, right? If I would have been trading more aggressive in this colder market, we have seen several times now, even with like CHNR, for example. If I would have shorted this, I would have lost money, right? Just at least for the strategy I'm using, I would have lost money on this stock. So on the surface, you could say, well, look at all these great opportunities, but if they were failing my criteria and I'm protecting myself by not shorting as much, then that's the right call in my eyes. Now, I need to be self-critical and also make sure that I'm building towards something bigger and that something that will be more helpful in the long run, right? It's not just about having good accuracy, good metrics. If that doesn't convert to, you know, life-changing money, then the strategy needs to be reconsidered. Fortunately, that's not the barrier right now, right? We are mostly just testing and trying to gather data, so I totally don't mind that. But that's kind of the goal, right? That's what we're building towards. And right now on TWO, we're up a massive 4 cents per share. We're absolutely crushing it on TWO. Hindsight, and this might be something for me to think about. Like, I just got in this as an experimental play because this was way too close to the buyout price. Considering this was likely to range less, I could have probably taken larger size in hindsight. This is fine for just like a little test trade with real money, but maybe worth considering that I should be taking larger size on any kind of buyout plays. Like, for example, that sizing was probably appropriate if it was like a 30-cent gap from the buyout. But when it's not even, when it's 3 cents, literally 3 cents from the buyout, I think at that point you can probably take a bigger size position. So that's just something maybe worth me keeping in the back of my head. Your win rate is actually higher in a cold market because I have to be more selective. Interestingly enough, my strategy for my backtesting is also more accurate in a cold market. Yeah, the selectivity protects against the outliers. Yeah, what should happen during a hot market is my accuracy should go down, but the frequency of trades should go up significantly. Yeah, I'm losing more faith by the second in Sir. You thought my entry was $2. Oh, no. No, my entry is not $2. I feel comfortable sharing it now that it's probably not going to get filled. So these were my order entries. So my first entry was at 214. Right, so I was around 10 cents from a fill for my first entry. Didn't quite get there. BRB meeting? Sounds good, man. So interestingly, TWO is actually going above the buyout price, which is very strange. This is very uncommon. All right, to acquire all shares of TWO common stock for $10.70. Very interesting. Could even turn this into an official. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so this is actually running despite it having a buyout below the current price. Very uncommon. Maybe inefficient market making on TWO. Once the algos are on it, they're going to lock it to the buyout price range. So this one's interesting. I'm not really going to add to this. I just want to kind of sit on this and think about it. So 105 million shares. And you had a buyout price here, 1070. And now you're getting significant momentum past that level. Interestingly, 1030. So there was another one that reported it, the same thing. So apparently there's a second offering that was going on as well about a merger agreement. So they're kind of weighing the two options. Yeah, because we're getting very detached now from what the price should have been. Right, this is a 50-cent disparity. Why such a disparity? Yeah, because I see some bigger bids at 1084, at 3500 at 1084, 1400 at 1090. Interestingly, too, is that these spikes were happening like 27,000 volume, pushed this up 30 cents on a 100 million share stock. Like, that volume disparity is massive. So this is being pushed up on lighter volume relative to the shares outstanding. Very strange. I think you said yesterday some other day was the worst of the month. Today seems worse, in my opinion. No, it's definitely not. Definitely not. CHNR was a beautiful move. Sir kind of did a move. No, I mean, those two alone kind of make today at least something. That's why I'm saying market maker's not really doing a great job here. Because, like, if they are doing a great job, then, like, that would be opportunity. It is strange that you're 50 cents above the buyout price and on light volume. It's such a expensive stock. But I'm wondering if maybe there's something I'm missing, is the question. Because that's a pretty big disparity. I'm wondering if there's something beyond this that I'm not understanding. Well, no, I'm not even saying that it's an inefficiency. There could literally just be something going on here that I don't understand. Because this seems like there's something fundamental that went on here. This doesn't read to me as a structural mistake, because if it was a mistake, it'd be a big mistake. And hey, if this corrects back to 1070, then right, fair enough. And realistically, since it's a proposal, it shouldn't even be at 1070. It should be below 1070. Conversely, though, looking at the price action on the chart, right, this was up at $14 just 2 months ago. So you could even argue that, like, let's say that they decline the buyout at 1070. What does that signal? Well, that would actually signal that the company thinks that it's worth more than 1070, which that itself could be a bullish signal, right? 1070 isn't actually that much higher than its recent price performance. So maybe there's something psychological going on there. There was fake buyout news on a ticker a few years ago. Stock traded after market open around the supposed buyout price, then halted and dropped 90% during the halt. Well, we'll see. I'm willing to hold it. It's moving pretty slow. 1075, there's a 4,000 share order. Yeah, now 1076 is 8,100. So it does seem like there's a bigger order there. I say bigger in quotes because, I mean, it's like some of these candles would easily wipe that out. But still, very interesting nonetheless that it did this much of a move. Yeah, I don't usually see... I almost never see buyouts do something like this where it goes significantly above. This is genuinely novel for me. All right, so we're at the 11,000 now share buy wall at 1077. That's what's on the bid. See how well it holds up. Go ahead and see how people are doing while I wait. Looks like that 1077 wall got taken out. Think you're gonna call it here. Got stuff to do. Usual pre-market setups aren't simply not there. Yeah. Yep, you have a good one, man. It's good talking to you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so a lot of people traded today. We do have 40% no trade, which I'm not really surprised by. We've really only had 2 stocks that made some kind of move, and both of them had something sketchy going on with them. Yeah, very weird how this one's behaving. All right. 6 straight green candles in a row into what looks like some sort of algorithmic selling. Green on both CHNR and SER. No trades, but still 2 bags. Right, too. There's like nothing else to really watch at this point. CHNR is kind of churning. It looks like it is actually somewhat grinding higher. SIR is kind of holding, but it's also started to grind. It's not really moving as much. Yeah, I think we're mostly just waiting for top of the hour. CHNR maybe is the most appealing scenario right now, right? If it gets over this previous top, then you could start to see a return up to this level. But it is still moving slower. Yeah, I am genuinely kind of confused with TWO. I might even ask Claude to look at this because I don't know. Like this seems so bizarre to me. I've genuinely never seen something like this. And it's given the whole move back too. Like I could have shorted here and this would have been a beautiful profit. Maybe there's something to it. Should actually make a note. I want to see where this stock is in 24 hours. What does TWO do? Yeah, okay. So I made a note. I want to definitely check in on this in 24 hours. See what the chart looks like, how it performs around 1070. One of my bags are number 3 on the top gainer list. There you go. Did you end up closing out of that one bag you had? It was like yesterday or the day before that it actually ended up moving up on scanners. Dude, TWO doesn't make any sense to me. Is this real? Was it really just a market inefficiency? Is that really what it was? INA, yeah, LNAI, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, I mean, it ended up flipping green for me, but I definitely feel surprised by it, certainly. Yeah, I went into TWO pretty confident, right? Because it was pushing just mere pennies from the 1070 level. And I was pretty confident it wasn't going to break it. But then, like, I've genuinely never seen this kind of price action before. So, like, I'm green, but I'm not at all happy or confident. If anything, I'm questioning my understanding of buyouts. This is definitely something to do a case study on. Certainly. Got my losses and live to trade another day. Yeah. All right, well, we got about 5 minutes to the top of the hour here. Like normal, I'll stick around 5 minutes after, see if anything comes up. Still going to keep holding this for a bit, too. I want to see if we actually get a further retracement, or if we just hold in this area. I would like to see it drop a bit more if I'm actually going to take profit. Small red on the day, broke discipline and held on way too long. I'm sorry to hear that, man. What did you end up trading? I'm guessing CHNR? Yeah, CHNR was really a roller coaster. If you want to talk about it. If you don't, I respect it. This is the lowest number of tickers to hit my scanner since November 19th. So, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, right? So your argument has some water. So, for example, my argument was CHNR was a good mover, and SER also was a bit of a mover. So my argument was that, okay, we've had some moves, so today wasn't dead. But what else moved, right? What was the things that didn't move, right? MOB popped up immediately, failed. DLTH kind of just churned here. Volume wasn't actually even that high. LNKS, more of a continuation. It actually failed right from 7 a.m. Right, 7:06 was the top, so this one didn't last very long, and it was a penny stock. So yeah, there's certainly some things that weren't ideal. Sir, spiking a bit here. Might actually be curling. I'll post your cover on CHNR later today on the Discord. I'll probably be holding short all day. We'll see. If this breaks out, I will still attempt to go short on this one. CHNR, the obvious first choice heading into the open. I'll be looking for a flush candle for an entry. Good luck, sir. Yeah, Flip-Flop, could you give me your expertise advice? What do you think of TWO? If you're still here. This one seems very suspicious to me. And I'm definitely going to look at it with AI afterward. Because this is extremely abnormal behavior from what I'm used to seeing. I need an expert opinion on the subject. He might have already gone. All right. Well, I got covered on TWO, so winning trade, but I genuinely don't feel happy about it. Because I didn't win the way I thought I would win. All right. SER potentially breaking 2. Let's see how this resolves. We are now at the top of the hour as well. I will stick around a little for Sir, just because this one is showing favorable action for me. Honestly... Yeah, I think I do actually cancel the first order in this situation. Considering it held here, the odds that it makes a leg similar to the first leg are too high. You're back. Welcome back. SPCB wins $17 million National Electric monitoring contract. That sounds good. I mean, it sounds good, right? Gets 5,000 volume from it. And then it just kind of rolls over. Watching Sir here. Coming back to the highs. Average volume, SP, CB, just 47K. Only 4 million shares too. Yeah, but this just isn't getting any volume right now. Also, the spread's pretty big. You're looking at like a 30-cent spread, so that's significant. Okay, significant inflow coming in here on Sir. Almost feels like the algos are off this market lately, so a legit PR can take a few minutes to run. Yeah, I actually, I really agree with that assessment, NASCAR. I think it was Tristan that mentioned it. But yeah, I'm starting to subscribe to the idea that algos turn on or off. And my read right now is that the algos are turned off. They are not willing to spike anything. Yeah, I think I agree with that assessment. Yeah. Okay, so it's almost 9:05. SCR is pretty close to territory I'm interested in, so I'm willing to stick around. I'll give it like an extra 5 minutes, see what Sir wants to do before I abandon all hope for the day. I guess I should be thankful, right? I was down like $3 or something at one point on TWO. So the fact that it did revert, I should be thankful for that. No, the fact that it fully reverted and actually went lower, right? So it went 50 cents above the buyout price in 5 minutes on low volume, and then gave the entire move back and went 20 cents below the buyout. Like, maybe that was just a market inefficiency. I don't know. It's very, very interesting. You know, I'm thinking Sir will drop. I mean, daily chart, it looks horrendous, right? Like, this thing is just... I mean, look at this. This went from $5 to $1 in like 5 months. So this stock is bleeding cash like crazy. So any pump should create some sort of downward pressure at some point. Now, I understand there was a pretty strong catalyst yesterday, and this is continuing that momentum, but it should be mean reversion. So I'm interested in shorting if this goes up enough. My initial short was at 514, but I have since removed that because that 514 was based off of the initial spike, and I missed that by like 10 cents. So now I'm looking for what the top of the second leg would give, if it wants to do that. If it's just going to roll over after making a double top, then it is what it is. Always be thankful for green. No, yeah, I get that. And I am thankful for it. All right, if this doesn't curl back up in the next few minutes, then I'm gonna bail for the day. SPCB. Looks like it's at highs, but it could just... Yeah, I mean, there's no volume to it. No, I saw it pop up on the chart. I was looking at the 5 minute, and I was like, ooh, it's actually curling. And like, I just look at the 1 minute. This is non-existent volume. Okay, so I was looking at the 5 minute chart. I wonder if I should start doing that thing that DJ does. After every stream, he puts like the dollar amount. Maybe I should just start putting that on mine. Like, I made $1 today. Wow. That's incredible. It could be something to think about later, but yeah. All right, this thing is taking too long to make the next leg. I need to get ready for market open. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys for tuning in. It does seem like the market is colder. We had CHNR that was a good move, but I think some people have correctly flagged that this seems more like an anomaly than a regiment change. It seems like the market is still cold. We just had an exception today. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. You guys have a good rest of your day. I will be back at it again tomorrow, 7 a.m. Regardless of what happens, I will do my best to perform the strategy and to grow with it. You guys have a good day.